Hi, Dr. Range. Steve Foster here, Durango, Colorado, and I just wanted to preface this video by saying that I have done some kind of synthesized PDs that are kind of a little bit more asynchronous, especially in the spirit of COVID and synchronous versus asynchronous and stuff like that. So this is how I've been doing some PDs recently, as far as kind of that flipped classroom approach, to be able to try to have a snippet of what's to come and have a little bit of pre-work done on the part of teachers, especially in the spirit of modeling a flipped classroom that they might be able to implement in their own classrooms. So this little 5 minute that I'm going to show you here in a little bit is kind of a model. I like to model PD after what I do in my own classroom. So like when I have substitute teachers, I'll do a lot of this, as far as do a little screencastify video to be able to have the students run what's going on when I'm actually not in the classroom, so they can still have a valuable experience even though I'm not there. Um, I like being able to have those best practices that teachers can plug into their own practice. So that's one of my objectives here, is to be able to model, what I have going on in my own classroom and what best practices that teachers can kind of latch onto to be able to plug into their own practice. I love how it's applicable for remote, sorry for the typo there, or in person. And I also want to be able to honor staff time constraints, as far as try to have something that, as you'll see here, is going to be no more than 5 minutes that they can kind of watch on their own time, honoring that many of them might have family lives or things going on outside of their contract hour. But I think that, 5 minutes to be able to get ready for a staff meeting and to be able to know what they need to do to prepare is realistic. So, most importantly, I believe that the purpose of professional development should promote real life discussions that they can walk away with some sort of a resource or some sort of an action step that they can plug in tomorrow. So hopefully you'll notice that as I have this professional development. So once I switch to the next slide, which basically is going to be this ELLPD jigsaw minus the red box, then that'll be kind of my signal that it's switching into the lens of instructional coach or instructional leader from an administrative perspective. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be able to check out this flipped classroom next step for you as we're preparing for our April 12th professional development staff meeting. So as you can see here, what we're going to be shooting for is to participate in a collaborative jigsaw in order to grow as teachers, learning facilitators for our ELL students. So we're going to be going through a few articles, doing a jigsaw, specializing in a heterogeneous group to be able to share, uh, learn, and then hopefully wrap up and plug something into your daily practice over the next couple of weeks. Cool. So just to remind all of us that John Hurl charged us a couple of years ago, back in 2018, with this whole idea of literacy across content. So the idea is that we can be literacy teachers even if we may not be in the ELA department. So for me as a social studies teacher, perfect example. But even as PE, CTE, some of those more non-traditional literacy classrooms, the charge was to be able to still be literacy teachers, despite the fact that that might not be as organic as ELA, social studies, etc. So hopefully when you're meeting with your departments over the next couple of days, you can talk about how has COVID impacted this. So I know that for me personally, it did kind of flip us into this tailspin, as far as getting away a little bit from our data driven literacy instruction. But hopefully we still have some celebrations despite COVID, that what we have been continuing to do, or what we do need to do as a department to be able to kind of get back into that frame of mind. As you are having those conversations, another thing that your department coordinator will be helping you out with is to be able to get you the readings. So as you see, there's going to be 4 readings as we get into this jigsaw protocol that you're welcome to pause and take a look at the protocol here. But just a quick gist, you're going to read the reading that you've been assigned. There's 4 different readings. They're going to be heterogeneous groups. You're going to prepare with the 2 items that you see in the red box, which is your reflections. So you've got a 1 paragraph cheat sheet as well as what that looks like in your classroom. If you need assistance on some sort of a graphic organizer or whatever the case may be, I'm happy to do that, but I figure that everybody's different and everybody's most likely been doing this for long enough that you have your own way that works for you. And then the most important thing, I think, is what does it look like in your classroom? So based off of your reading, you'll see that one is related to literacy instruction as far as writing goes, one is related to reading, one is related to kind of best practice around ELLs, to be able to say like, oh yeah, this is something that happened to me related to that here in the last maybe year or hopefully sooner than that, related to something that the article might be talking about. So make sure that you're ready to bring that to our staff meeting on April 12th. And then on April 12th, you're going to be getting together with those groups to create a cheat sheet and to kind of contribute to this slideshow. So you'll have access to this slide deck and also to be able to share out not only your cheat sheet. So taking our first reading here, you've got this resource, it's linked. I wanted to have a space for a confirmation of your beliefs or maybe a challenge, maybe knowing that we're all educators that have gone through some ELL best practices. Maybe you're like, nope, I have this evidence over here that shows that this is not something that is best practice. So those conversations are totally fine. And then the cheat sheet as well as what does it look like in your classroom. So you'll see that we've got these articles here as far as reading instruction for ELLs. We've got the research tells us about teaching reading to English language learners. We've got one related to writing instruction for ELLs, and then another one relating to reading nonfiction text. So as you're going through there, please make sure that you take maybe 15 minutes or so to be able to get through your reading and prepare this cheat sheet and what an example so that you can have that ready to go for April 12th. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and I hope you are doing well. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll see you, if not before, on April 12th. Take care, guys.